Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to break down the research behind a pretty big name in supplements, Juice Plus. The company makes some big claims, and we're here to unpack the science they use to back them all up. This is the million-dollar question for any supplement, right? Juice Plus says clinical research is at the heart of their philosophy, so let's dig in and see what that really means. Okay, here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with the foundation of their research. Then we'll look at the health benefits they claim are proven. After that, we'll put a spotlight on a few key studies, check out their third-party certifications, and finally, wrap up with their core mission. All right, first things first, the research itself. So the company's whole angle is that they don't just claim their products work. They've actually poured a lot of resources into clinical studies to try and prove it. So the big number you'll see them talk about is 40 plus. And these aren't just blog posts. We're talking about peer-reviewed scientific publications. That means other experts in the field had to look at the research and give it the green light before it was ever published. That's a pretty high bar. And if we get a little more specific, since 1995, they've actually funded 33 human clinical trials just on their Juice Plus Essentials capsules. And that's key. These aren't just studies in a petri dish. We're talking about research on actual living, breathing people. Okay, this is a really important point they make. Who is doing all this research? It's not happening in some secret lab in their headquarters. They say it's done by independent academic researchers at top universities and hospitals all over the world. All right, so with all that research, what did they actually find out? What are the results? So, all that work, the 33 trials we mentioned, resulted in 47 published scientific papers. And according to Juice Plus, all that science points to these 13 specific health benefits. And as you can see, it's a pretty wide-ranging list. We're talking immune support, gut health, even cognitive function and skin health. This is where it gets interesting. Let's zoom in on a few of these key areas and see who is actually behind the curtain, doing the research. So let's start with immune function. This research came out of some really respected places, like the University of Florida and the Charité University Medical Center in Berlin, and the findings ended up in major journals, like the British Journal of Nutrition. Then you have cardiovascular health, and this research really went global. We're talking about work done at Vanderbilt University School of Medicine here in the States, all the way to the University of Milan in Italy and Tokyo Women's Medical University in Japan. And what about skin health? Well, that research came from universities in Austria and Germany, and it got published in specialized journals like Skin Pharmacology and Physiology. Okay, so beyond all the clinical trials they fund, Juice Plus also points to a few key third-party certifications to add another layer of trust and validation for their products. First up, and this is a huge one, especially if you're an athlete, is the NSF Certified for Sport seal. So what does this actually mean? Well, for athletes, it's all about peace of mind. It's an independent guarantee that the product doesn't contain any of the 290-plus substances banned by major sports organizations. It's a really big deal. All right, next up, you'll see the non-GMO Project Verified seal on their stuff. And this one is pretty straightforward. It's about being transparent about where their ingredients come from. This seal is basically a third-party confirmation that the product meets the toughest standards in North America for avoiding genetically modified organisms. And there's one more key certification they have, and that's the NSF Content Certified mark. And this one is kind of a triple threat guarantee of quality. First, it verifies that what's on the label is actually what's on the bottle. No surprises. Second, it confirms the product is free from unsafe levels of things you don't want, like heavy metals. And third, it certifies that it's all made in a facility that follows what's known as good manufacturing practices. So it's about purity and quality control. So you've got the research, you've got the certifications. What's it all for? What's the big idea here? Well, that brings us right to the company's core mission. Really, their whole mission can be summed up by this one idea, helping you bridge the gap. The gap between the fruits and vegetables we all know we should be eating and what we actually manage to get on our plates every day. They aim to fill that gap with concentrated, plant-based nutrition. And their tagline really ties this all together perfectly. Proven by science, felt by you. It's all about connecting that rigorous, objective research to your own personal, subjective experience of feeling better.
So if you've heard all this and you want to dig a little deeper, you can actually reach out to a representative named Helene Matthews. That's spelled Helene and pronounced Helene. Her website is us.juiceplus.com/partner equals 106-34896. And her phone number is 858-208-5109. And for more general info on health and wellness, you can also check out naturesmart.us.
And that really brings us to the final question, the one for you to think about. After seeing all the research and the data they present, it kind of makes you step back and ask yourself, what does bridging my own nutritional gap really look like?